Hey gang, it's me! So we finally passed 1000 subscribers on this channel, so as promised, I'm doing the first Q&A responding to the questions you asked me. We got a lot of questions, so we're just gonna start right out. What are your favorite black metal bands? As in classic black metal, the first one that comes to mind has gotta be Emperor. I love Emperor. I think Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk is one of the greatest black metal albums of all time. I listen a lot to The Mysteries Dom Satanas by Mayhem, and I really like their latest album, Demon. I love me some Dark Funeral, I love me some Marduk, I love me some Dark and Nocturne Slaughter Cult. I like atmospheric black metal that's more on the aggressive side like Panopticon. I like more avant-garde black metal bands like Imperial Triumphant and Krallis or Mirror Throne. I really like this black metal band called Falls. They got 3 releases specifically that I really like, which are the Portent album, the Hunger EP, and the Untitled album. Favorite horror movies? I really like Evil Death, the original and the remake. I like Midsommar and Hereditary. A movie that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is Brightburn, which is vaguely a if Superman was born evil kind of story. It's really cool, and it's got one of the most cringe-inducing gore scenes that I've seen so far that makes you physically uncomfortable. If you could revive a musician who passed away, who would it be? Probably Chuck. I think it will be interesting to see how he would have evolved death going into the 2000s. How do you get so good at playing guitar? Honestly, force of will. I literally force myself to play like this. And I'm not saying you should follow what I do, but I don't really ever sit down to practice technique, like ever. My practice is literally learning the songs for the videos. I really like it when you play thrash metal riffs. Who is your top 5 thrash metal guitarists of all time? When I think of my favorite guitar players in thrash metal, the first one that always comes to mind is definitely David DeSanto from Vector. Now, controversies aside, he's a really cool guitar player and he's super creative, and he went on to form one of the most innovative thrash metal bands that I honestly ever heard. I really like Gary Holt as a person and as a guitar player. I really like Sammy from Creator. I think he's super underrated. I really like Jeff Waters from Annihilator. And let's add James Hetfield for good measure. One of the best down pickers of all time. You cannot go wrong with him. And he seems like a pretty chill dude. What is your favorite death metal band? And what's your favorite guitar riff in general? Also, I really enjoy watching your videos. Favorite death metal band? I'm always torn in between Gorguts and Hate Eternal. Gorguts is super creative and out there, and then Hate Eternal is just absolutely crushing. I Monarch was a super important album for me growing up, and I've watched The Perilous Fight, which is their live album, a bunch of times. I also think it's super hilarious when Eric says it's wakey wakey time. It's wakey wakey time! As in favorite guitar riffs, I like a lot of guitar riffs. That's what I made this channel. I really like the riff in the first verse of Over Spirit by Krallis. I like a bunch of guitar riffs in the Apos album by the Schomburg Automaton. I love the chorus riff in La Sorcière de Voile l'Univers by Vehemence. I like any riff that is in Scorch by Spawn of Possession. I really like the intro riff to Legacy of Contempt by Vitriol. What plugins do you use to play, and what do you look more after when editing audio? I mainly use the neural stuff, the neural DSP stuff. Mainly the Omega Granifier. I think it's the best one out of them all. It's the most realistic sounding one in terms of like the oomph of the low end and the high end fizz. And I also really like using the 14 Nameless suite, especially when it comes to getting a really good classic thrash metal tone. When it comes to editing audio, the first thing that I look after is getting the low end under control, because when you're playing extreme metal especially, there's too many sources that can create mud. So you want to get it under control, and you want every instrument to cut through with a good punchy control low end. Hey dude, congrats! Really like your stuff. Trying to grow my own channel as well. Are you currently playing in any bands, and where are you from? Go check out Carlos, he's really good. And he's got some pretty cool Behemoth covers. I am not currently playing in any bands, but I do have my own thing going on with music, but it's currently on hold, so I'm trying to mainly grow this channel and then I will release something. Oh, and I'm from Mexico. Favorite death metal bassist, guitarist, drummer, and vocalist? And what is your dream guitar? As in bassist, it's gotta be Erling Kaspersen from Spawn of Possession, one of the most insane bass players of all time. When I think of drummers, the first one that comes to mind is Eugene Ryachenko. I think I pronounced that well. He currently plays in Flesh God Apocalypse, but he's played live with a bunch of bands such as Decapitated and Vital Remains and Belphegor. I gotta add George Colias from Nile, need I say more? Mike Smith from Suffocation, classic. And I gotta mention Kevin Paradis from Benighted because he's one of the fastest and cleanest drummers that I ever seen. Guitarist? Definitely Luke LeMay from Gorguts and Eric Rutan from Hate Eternal. Also Kyle Rasmussen from Vitriol. I definitely gotta mention Josh Helmer from Cattle Decapitation. His work specifically in the album The Harvest Floor, it's absolutely insane. And also Bob Vigna from Immolation. As for vocalist, Ross Dolan from Immolation, of course, especially in Dawn of Possession and Hereinafter. Of course, Travis Ryan from Cattle Decapitation. Again, Kyle Rasmussen from Vitriol. His rage is so palpable. I really like Julian from Benighted. I really like Dennis from Spawn of Possession. And also Jake Gersel from the Schoenberg Automaton. And as for my dream guitar, I like a lot of guitars. I want probably every Donable model. I really want an USA-made BC Rich Ironbird, especially if it's blood red, like Eric Rutan's. I really like his signature model. I'm hoping for a 6-string, but I'll definitely take the 7-string. I want a Mockingbird. I really dig Devin Townsend's signature Framus models, and also his custom Siltoid Mayfield model. I want a lot of pointy guitars. I want USA made Jackson King V, a Rhodes model, a Jackson Warrior, an Ibanez Cyphos, an Ibanez Iceman. I really like the Solar Vs. I really like the 7-string Solar Vs. And I also dig the E-Type Solar models. What advice would you give to someone who wanted to start doing videos like you? Just do it! Try to keep some certain level of quality when you start doing them. Like you could actually watch the videos. Like, I don't know, 720p, something like that. Try to make it not so obvious that you're playing in your room. What is the band or album that decided you to pick up a guitar and play metal? I think it was Belphegor. When I started playing guitar, I already had been playing bass for 2 years. I started listening to Belphegor, and I think also it was Vital Remains, specifically with the album Icons of Evil, and Nile. And those 3 bands really made me say, damn, guitar is really cool. I want to hear from you, man. What are your favorite things to do besides playing and listening to metal? What are your hobbies? What's your favorite meal, movies, books, places? Hobbies? I really like drawing. I actually have an Instagram page where I post my drawings. I really like playing card games, like TCG kind of card games. I started off when I was like 8 years old with a game called Chaotic, and then I went on to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard as a kid. The game that I played the most to this day is actually Magic the Gathering. Actually, I have right here a box set that I bought from the latest set, Crimson Vow. Favorite meal? I really like lasagna and ramen, and I really like Korean barbecue. Favorite books? The Psychoanalyst. I like Orwell books. I want to get Animal Farm in a physical copy. And actually, I have 1984 right here. I got it on my local bookshop. I had already read it, but I wanted to have it physical. Favorite movies? I like Inglourious Bastards, About Time, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and Super Dark Times, to name a few. What do you expect from your playing? Do you want to form a band or be a content creator for YouTube? What are your favorite albums too? What do I expect from my playing? I want to play live. I want to eventually gather musicians that will learn the songs that I already written and play live with proper live shows with lighting and screens and costumes and like to be a really good show, a proper live show. And with your help, guys, I will eventually do it. Favorite albums? As in death metal, definitely I Monarch by Hate Eternal. That was super important for me growing up. Colored Sands by Gorguts. I think also it's one of the best produced albums in death metal. I really like Empath by Devin Townsend. I listen to CD by Strapping Young Lad a lot, which is Devin Townsend's old band. I love Crack the Sky by Mastodon, Air by Astronoid, and if I had to add another death metal album, definitely Once Was Not by Cryptopsy. I think it's their most underrated album. So this is my first question out of music. Do you like anime? I love anime. I don't watch anime as often as I used to, but my favorite anime of all time has gotta be Code Geass. I've watched it a bunch of times. It gets better every time. I like Evangelion, Parasite the Maxim,
Full Metal Alchemist,
Tiger and Bunny, SSSS Gridman, to name a few. Sounds good, man. Whereabouts you from? And do you game? Also, how long have you been playing? As I said, I'm from Mexico. I do game sometimes, but my PC sucks. It's not gamer optimized. I've played a few games in my PC like Hollow Knight. Since I've never owned something like a PlayStation or an Xbox, I've mostly played games on my Nintendo DS consoles. So for that reason, my favorite game of all time is actually Mega Man CX Advent, and I really like that one because you can transform into other Mega Mans and other like robot animals. I don't remember what they're called. And I've been playing guitar for almost 7 years. What do you use to record and how many guitars do you own? So to record, I just go straight into my Focusrite 2i2 interface into Ableton Live. I should get a DI box and use it too if you want to record like this. And I use, as I said, the Neural DSP plugins. And I'm going to show you my guitars. So I owned 3 guitars and my bass. And this is a guitar that you've never seen on the channel. It's my Fender Mexi Strat, so it's made in Mexico. This was given to me by a cousin because she didn't play it anymore. And I really like this one because it's sunburst, but it's got a maple fretboard, and that's often a combination that it's not very common. I think you don't see this combination very often. But yeah, I really like this guitar. Probably my heaviest guitar, but I don't play on the channel because it doesn't play death metal. Now this is the guitar that you've probably seen the most on the channel. This is my trusty LTD M10. It's my first ever electric guitar. I think it's ESP's cheapest model. It was like $149.99. It honestly plays better than that. So that goes to show how much care they put into every guitar at every price point. And yeah, ESP, if you're watching this, call me. Now this is arguably my favorite guitar that I own. It's my Jackson Soloist SLX. It was snow white when I got it. It's a lot creamier now. It has aged beautifully. I put a Four Fantastic sticker on it. It's got a Floyd Rose Special Duncan design pickups. I think it's a basswood body with a maple neck and a rosewood fretboard. Neck through construction, of course. Great upper fret access right here. Sometimes it's the best guitar in the world. Stays in tune great, plays great. Sometimes it's fighting me. It won't stay in tune, but it's kind of the magic of it. Yeah, I want to eventually replace all the hardware, like put a proper original Floyd Rose on it, better pickups, locking tuners, of course. But yeah, I'm never gonna get rid of this guitar. So Jackson, if you're watching, please call me. Last but not least, an absolute workhorse of a bass, my Warwick Corvette double bucker because it has two humbucker pickups. It's one of the made in China rock bass series as opposed to the fancy German made ones, but it's honestly an exceptional instrument. Sounds so big and robust. It's so heavy, it weighs like an elephant. If someone breaks into my house and I hit them with this, they'll be gone. It's a Swampbush body with a maple neck. I think this counts as a 5-piece because of these black lines that I don't remember the material, but I think they count as extra pieces. But yeah, if I wanted to make it sound jazzier, I can do that. But for metal, it's great. Love your bits, bro. I gotta ask, what, if any, of these riffs are too hard to play for you? This was actually commented on the Brutal Death Metal Riffs video, and on that video in particular, not so many of the riffs were too hard to play. Maybe the intro to Nile's Black Seeds of Vengeance and the Disgorge song. But in general, the first one that comes to mind is Dethroned by Hate Eternal. The section that I picked for the Evolution of Death Metal Riffs video was really punishing. You can see in the video that I'm wiggling my hand because it's so tired. Also, the Hereinafter riff by emulation that I picked, also in the same video, that one was very difficult because it's really weird. Like, it doesn't sound that weird, but things don't really line up as they should. Also, Hollow Bodies by Cannibal Corpse. Actually, most of the riffs in the Cannibal Corpse video were some of the hardest that I ever learned. Also, The Origin of Disease and Necrotic Manifesto by Aborted. Those were really tough riffs. And also Threat Level number 3 by The Black Dahlia Murder. That riff was unexpectedly difficult. Oh yeah, and also Carrion Shine and the section that I picked from Worship Your Demons by Cryptopsy, both songs. Did you ever deal with soreness when learning fast tremolo picking? I've dealt with it for a while, but it's only getting better. Absolutely. When I was just starting out, I was really pushing myself and I was not using enough wrist and it was not efficient and I was really hurting myself. But now it's just second nature. It's just muscle memory. And good to know it's getting better for you too. What's your most hated death metal album? Nightmares of the Decomposed by 6 Feet Under. Listen to Chris Barnes' voice in that album. Oh my god, how the mighty have fallen. Everything about that album is terrible. The composition, the production, even the album's cover. It's really bad. It's like they bought some Halloween supplies from their local Walmart and just took a picture and just call it a day. What bands everyone seems to like besides you? And do you watch animated series? I'm not a big fan of Megadeth and Machine Head. Now, I like some of their songs, but I don't actively seek them to listen to. As for animated series, of course, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Clone Wars series, and most recently, Invincible. For Q&A, what will be your top recommendation for underrated bands? Vampire Squid? Great technical death metal. Vitriol, of course, again. Serpanitum, also great technical death metal. It's really crushing, but sometimes it just goes into this really triumphant melodies. I love it. Inoculation, just straight up good death metal. VMNs, their album named like this, it's really good. It's epic medieval black metal. You gotta check it out. Sunopfer, Unholy Matrimony, Worm Witch, Stormkeep, Warforge, and Full Darkness, their latest album, Adversary Omnipotent, was really good. One of the only bands that I can call technical black metal. Damn and Enthean with their album Priest of Annihilation. That band is actually Brian Kingsland's from Nile other band. It's really good. Also Abyssal, the Schoenberg Automaton with their album Apus. Venom with their album Trance of Death. Really filthy death metal. You're gonna love that one. Blackthorn, that one's an all-female symphonic black metal band from Russia. Oxox Ox, their album Namidai. It's awesome. I love it. One of my favorite albums of all time. I didn't mention that one before, but it's really good. And Abduction with their album Johanne. Really good, progressive ish black metal, death metal kind of thing. You should check it out. So now we got a segment called Joyo Recommends Albums. Every time I do one of these videos, I want to recommend you guys an album from a band that you might not know, but I think you'll really like. This time around, we got Methods of Resurrection Through Evisceration by Anthropophagus. It's a really cool band, really crushing, brutal death metal band from Italy. I know you guys love brutal death metal, so you're gonna love this album. Check it out. So, I know I didn't get to every question you guys asked me. There were a lot of questions, and honestly, the video was getting too long. So if I didn't get to your question or you want to ask more questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below, and I'll make sure to answer them in a future video. I also want to expand this community, so what should I do? Should I do a Discord server or a subreddit? You guys let me know. And I also want to diversify my content, so maybe do more videos talking like this, or maybe some comedy skits, or even some gear reviews. I love gear. You guys let me know in the comments what else you would like to see on this channel. So please leave a comment on the videos, make sure you destroy the like button, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and it helps me with the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.